this rivalry between you and Kyle Larson, it's the greatest thing that's happened for NASCAR. You two are the greatest drivers of this era. You know, sometimes people go, boy, Kenny, everybody's great to you. I'm like, well, because I interview all the greats. You know, stop and think about it. So you and Kyle, tell me about you and Kyle Larson.
Yeah, I mean, I think that we've been, friends off the racetrack for a very long time. I think that our friendship was always better before we started competing for race wins against each other. I think that certainly when he got in the Hendrick number 5 car, he stepped into a top tier organization. He's finally getting that top equipment that the rest of us have got, and now he's showing what his ability is. What I've learned over time, though, is that it is very difficult to keep a friendship on the racetrack as well. And I think that you have to be able to separate those two things. And so I think that while kind of our relationship is not as close as it once was, I kind of wish it was, but I'm also okay if it isn't, because I think that we need to continue to push as much as we can to win for ourselves and our own team. If the fans lose out if we're not able to separate those two and go out there and battle for a race win at Pocono on the last lap. Like if we start, cutting each other breaks, the fans don't get the reward of that exciting finish that they deserve. So they should want us to have that rivalry on the racetrack. And then what we do off the racetrack is frankly none of their business, right? And so I think that we saw it. Dale Earnhardt, I feel like, was that way with some of his toughest rivals, right? He would go fishing or whatever with some of his toughest rivals, but he knew how to separate that on the racetrack.
As you know, I raced a lot, and I've seen this movie, and you and I both know that somebody at Hendrick, there's a group of people, they're in Kyle Larson's ear now to wreck your ass. And I know you know that, and I don't know what's being said. Can you shed some light on that? I mean, he's already, back to Jack, and, he fooled with you a little bit in turns 1 and 2 there. What do you think is going to happen here between you and Kyle?
Well, I think we need to have an understanding. I think that the two drivers, the two crew chiefs have got to have a sit down and discuss what the rules of engagement are. I think that I have said that I'm fine with us racing each other hard for wins. I don't think I'm necessarily fine with deliberately trying to take each other out. I think that raises the stakes a little bit out of control.
Right.
I guess I'm just confused a little bit on why the group is so upset when I move up the racetrack 3 or 4 feet
for the win.
But yet this is the way, in my opinion, Kyle has made passes for a decade. And so I just don't understand why it's such a big deal now. And so, yes, I do think that he has people in his ear pressuring him, but I don't think that is necessarily going to be a positive outcome for anyone. Because listen, we know my give a shit meter is absolutely pegged. And so I don't, if we get into this type of thing and it escalates, it's not going to be good for anyone. It won't be good for me. It's not going to be good for him. I think we just need to come together, come to an agreement on, hey, listen, we're good with racing hard for wins, but we were not deliberately trying to take each other out. That's probably where we should land.
Yeah. One more question on this. First of all, I like that. I do think you guys should have a sit down, but I feel like after watching you, I'm a big fan of you guys. I love NASCAR. I feel like I'm watching. I feel like Kyle was handling it on his own. I feel like Kyle knew what was up. We're going to Pocono now, but, he's on your outside. You're squeezing him for the win, and that's racing. But I feel like, I feel like they are in his ear and they want him think what they're retaliating. So I don't think he's in control. I think he thinks he's in control, but I feel like they're in his ass.
Yeah, but I think like, again, I am fine with, if I squeeze you, you squeeze me the next time it comes back around. But changing the game is saying that, all right, I'm going in this corner to wipe you out.
Yeah, that's not, you didn't do that.
That's a total different. That's a different level, and I think it just doesn't end well for either party.
Yeah, because you'll go back and wreck him, and then neither one of you will
never stop. It just won't ever stop. Yeah.
Yeah, I think that's where we'll end that. It's not a good movie because you both will wreck each other, pay the fines, and you both will not win the championship. So,
right.
Well, I'm looking forward to. You probably won't make a press release about it. That's kind of a joke, but I'm hoping you guys do talk it out. And thanks for answering that. Had to talk to you about that because that's a big deal. It's playing out on national TV.